Hi, my name is Lori, and this is Changing My Nails, where I go on a journey of changing the worst nails possible to something at least somewhat pretty with dips. So I did not receive the good nail genes like my mom and my sister and my niece did. I received nasty little nail beds, unruly cuticles, thin nails that bend, that never grow very well. And my goal is to try to transform these nasty little nails into something that's at least presentable. So I am basically starting over. I have been spending a few months working with my hands, and my hands have taken a beating. So this is going to be kind of a rough start with me getting my cuticles back in shape and all of that. So bear with me as I try to get my nails back in shape to start dipping. And of course, the first thing I'm going to do is try to soak these cuticles a little bit, and then use a cuticle pusher and cuticle cutters, which I absolutely hate, but my cuticles are so out of control, I have no choice here. And of course, I do damage my, cuticle area a little bit. I do give myself a little bit of a battle wound here or there. But overall, this isn't going to last very long. Within a couple weeks, they will be healed up and things will look better once I get this rolling a little bit more. So the first tool I'm using here is the nail drill and a ball bit. I am using the larger, there's usually two sizes, and this is a fine grit ball bit. And I use this very gently on primarily the skinned area of my nails. The last thing I want to do is put more damage on my nails. So I try to be as careful as possible, and I primarily use this to get rid of the cuticle area, the stuff that is still hanging on there. So once I was done with the nail drill, I cleaned each of my nails with straight up rubbing alcohol. And now I'm using something called Bond Aid. One of the things you really want to do is make sure that your nails are clean and dry. One of the worst things for dip is the oils that are left on your nail beds, as well as any moisture. You don't want moisture getting in there because that's how you start to get the greenies. Here I'm using Mia's Secret Clear Dip. So I'm going to put the base coat on my pinky, and then I'm going to dip it. And then I'm going to use the orangewood stick, and I'm going to go around the edge of my nail to clean up as much of the extra around the cuticle line as I can. I do this for each nail, and then I do it all over again. So I have 2 coats of clear dip on each nail. I like to start my dip process with clear dip. Clear dip is actually the strongest of the dips. So because my nails are so bad, I have the clear as my foundation each and every time, no matter what. So with each step, I'm only going to show you a little bit of work being done on my pinky finger and on my thumb, because otherwise this video is going to end up being 3 hours long. And please bear with me. I am horrible at applying nail polish, all of these things with a brush on either of my hands. Now I am right-handed, so this is going to be a little bit better than my next hand, but I am still bad at this. So once I've completed the full hand, I go back and I brush off all of the extra before I go put on my second coat. And then once that's done, I brush off all the extra again. Now for the fun part, the color. And as you will see as we go through these series, I love purples. So this is the OPI, You're Such a Budapest. So just like the clear foundation, I put 2 coats of the color on. I did the same exact process where I did the full hand, brushed it off. I went around the edges with each nail, put 2 coats, did everything exactly the same, and then moved on to another coat of the clear. So when I first started doing my nails, the only real nail brand for nail polish, etc., that I even knew of was OPI, because I was ignorant. I haven't really done my nails over the years at all. So OPI is where I started, and I actually started with gels first, and then shortly after that moved to dips. So when I'm putting the final coat of dip on, which is the clear, I am very careful not to contaminate the clear dip with whatever color I was just dipping with. Okay, so I have all the coats on. I have 5 coats of dip on, 2 clear, 2 colors, 1 clear. But I have glue on my fingers because I have these little stubbies, and because I'm not very good at putting the base coat exactly where it's supposed to be. So I am very carefully taking this 100 by 100 grit hand file, and I'm carefully taking it across the skin of my fingers, trying to remove any of the base coat with the dip on it. So when I go to activate it, I'm not activating all of the stuff onto my actual skin. It makes it much easier in the end to have the final cleanup. Okay, so once I'm happy with how my skin area has cleaned up, I take the OPI activator, which is step 2, and I apply 2 coats of activator to the nails, and then I let that sit for 5 minutes. Once I feel the nails have been cured, I go back to my 100 and 100 grit hand file and I clean up the edges of my nails and the free edge and try to shape them. I am horrible at shaping my nails, of course, but at least I give it a try. And I do this for each nail, but I'm very careful because I have been known to cut my fingers with these files, and they are like paper cuts on steroids. Now that I've finished everything with the hand file, I go back to the nail drill and back to the large ball bit, which is a fine grit, and I go around the edges of my nails to try to give me some definition between my nails and the skin of my fingers. And as I said earlier, there's actually 2 sizes of these ball bits, and they're both fine grit. So once I've gone through with the larger of the 2, I go back with the smaller of the 2. And I'm getting a little bit closer to my nail and defining that edge of my nail a little bit more. But again, I'm really careful to not go down to my nail bed and not be filing on my natural nails. Okay, so once I'm happy with how the ball bit part turned out, I come back in with a barrel bit, and this is used to shape and to clean up all of the imperfections that I did when I was applying the dip. So I try to do this again very carefully because you can in fact cut your fingers with the edge of the barrel bit. One thing that I haven't mentioned is that when I have used this nail drill, each time I am using it at about level 5. Usually 5, sometimes 3. I personally cannot go higher than 5 yet. My machine can, but my skill level won't let me. I'm also very sensitive to the heat that a nail drill creates, so I have to be more conservative on my speeds. This takes me a little bit longer, but I would rather move my way up slowly than totally destroy my nails with a nail drill that is way too fast for my skill level. So once I feel that I have cleaned up my nails as best as I'm going to, I come back in and use the activator again. This is to prevent any possible dry spots in the dip and to make sure that the dip is going to be as hard as possible. And here again, I let it sit for 5 minutes. I want my activator to be as dry as possible because going to the next step can really wreak havoc on your nails if you mess this up. Okay, so now we're doing the top coat. This time I did decide to go with the OPI top coat, even though I actually despise it. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I use the other OPI products and I want to be consistent in the product line. And I also give a review of these items at the end of this video. But this is top coat that you have to wipe after you've cured it. And for whatever reason, this type of top coat and I do not mix very well. I am really good at ruining it. So when you're doing the top coat, you kind of need to move quickly. You need to move quickly on your nails and try to keep that brush off of that activator as much as possible. You need to wipe off your brush in between coats, otherwise you are going to solidify your top coat. This is something that is kind of like a learning curve thing to do, but you will learn quickly because you will ruin many bottles otherwise. Finally, we put cuticle oil on. I use a lot of this stuff because my cuticles are so bad, and now I've chopped up my cuticle beds so badly that they need to heal. So cuticle oil is your friend. And for some reason, I don't show you the final product while I'm doing this, but I will insert a picture here of the final nails. And I hope that you find this somewhat inspirational, realize that if I can do this, you can do this, and that just because you have little stubby, nubby nails, you can still dip them and they don't look so bad. This is a great way to reinforce your nails, especially when you want to grow them out. So till the next video, I hope you have an awesome day and enjoy dipping.